There is nothing more gratifying to my soul than being the reason for a theorist's smile, to be the one that inspires creativity and critical thinking. That is why it is with enormous pleasure that I am announcing a new theory, a theory based on the Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 teaser trailer. Because while this trailer may seem vague and unspecific, it reveals even more of the horrific experiments that went on inside Playtime Co. May this theory terrify and disturb every theorist that chooses to click.
Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory, the show that encourages you to wake up and smell the poppies. And I mean that quite literally, friends, because today we're diving nose first back into the world of Poppy Playtime, which has been suspiciously quiet since the release of Chapter 2 back in May. Then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we got ourselves this little surprise last week. A teaser trailer for Chapter 3 coming out, according to the video, sometime next year. And let me tell you, friends, if you haven't seen this teaser yet, it gets dark. It starts off with a slow panning shot of the toys that we've already defeated. Huggy Wuggy lying on the ground, Mommy Longlegs ripped into, Brawn the dinosaur's head for some reason. All while we listen to Elliot Ludwig, founder of Playtime Co., giving an announcement about Playcare, the adoption initiative that Playtime Co. is starting. He states that Playtime owes everything to these children, and then the trailer ends as the camera moves up to reveal a creepy looking gas mask, all while the sounds of audience applause mix with the horrifying cries of children. Yay! This is a video game that's gonna be played by kids. Clearly they went hard for this one. The Chapter 2 teaser was creepy, child singing Itsy Bitsy Spider in a minor key, classic horror trope. But there's something about the sound of screaming children that just hits different. And that's coming from a guy who talks about dead kids way more regularly than a person probably should. However, behind those screams is the thing we're really looking for, the lore! For a few episodes now, we've suspected that Playtime Co. used children to make these living, breathing, bleeding toys. And now, having the founder of the company outright say, we owe everything to these children, well, I'm thinking he means that literally. But there's a lot more in here than just hints to past theories. I suspect that there's enough in this single minute of content to get a sense of most of what Chapter 3 is gonna reveal to us. From the next big bad toy we're gonna face to perhaps the most disturbing lore drop to happen yet. So let's take another slide down into the depths of Elliot Ludwig's monster factory, shall we? Probably the best place to start off is by addressing the severed dinosaur head in the room. In my live reaction to the teaser over on GT Live, where you'll notice I'm wearing some stellar new theory wear, by the way. Link for that's down below this video if you're interested in that nice long-sleeved t-shirt. Or, you know, maybe an awesome new futuristic backpack or shoulder bag right in time for the new school year. Let me tell you, they're the perfect size for any killer toys you might want to cram in there. Or, you know, maybe just a pack of our new clickbait green playing cards. I promise they won't come to life and chase you through the ventilation system. Anyway, where was I again? Sorry, merch push got me all confused. Oh yeah, in my reaction, seeing Brawn the dinosaur here immediately set off some theory alarms.
Is that the dinosaur? What is that, Brawn? Brawn the dinosaur?
His appearance here seems very intentional. The trailer begins by panning up from the remains of our first two bosses, and then we land on him, implying that he then is gonna be our Chapter 3 big bad. This feels especially true when you consider that the rest of the less important characters from past chapters like Pugapillar and Bunzo appear behind the gas mask at the end of the trailer.
If we're to believe this motif that they're setting up here, right, it seems to be indicating that Chapter 1 boss, Huggy, Chapter 2, Poppy, Chapter 3 then is Brawn going to be the boss, or kind of like the big bad of Chapter 3.
It's also worth pointing out that the gas mask at the end of the teaser is red and yellow, exactly like Brawn the dinosaur's color palette. No other toy we've been introduced to at this point matches that coloring, so it does seem like an odd coincidence. Like, again, it's purposefully trying to hint at Brawn's importance in this upcoming chapter. And then you have yourself the cardboard cutouts. Throughout Chapter 2, you find these cardboard cutouts of the various characters from Playtime Co. scattered throughout the map. If you push the buttons multiple times, they say various phrases, some of them harmless,
Do you want to play with PJ?
some of them disturbing,
You need to get out of here. Just kidding! Go have fun!
and if you keep on pressing, most of them end up as a glitchy mess. Now, I gotta be honest, when I first saw these things, I really wanted to do a theory just on these cardboard cutouts, expecting there to be some sort of hidden lore inside the glitchy audio. Like, it is the perfect place to hide lore. The perfect place to hide some lore. Mob games, wink wink, nudge nudge. I tried pitch shifting, reversing the audio, spectrograms, basically everything I could think of. You know what I got? Nothing. Maybe there'll be something that happens in chapter 3. Who knows? Mob games? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they were totally useless, because Braun does actually give us some interesting information. By pressing his cutout button once, we get a setup for a joke.
What do you call a dino with one eye?
And then pressing it again, we get the punchline.
Do you think he saw us?
Slow clap there, Braun. Slow clap. That is the type of humor that's kept me alive on YouTube for the past decade. However, keep pressing the button and you get this.
What do you call the scariest dinosaur? Me.
Braun is outright telling us that he's a scary dinosaur. The other toy cutouts, even the ones that do try to kill us within this very chapter, aren't nearly that overt. Some of them have ominous lines, but none of them are outright warning us about how scary they can be. In short, all the signs are pointing at Braun being the toy that we're gonna face next, which is why I don't believe it. I suspect that this might be a big misdirect on the part of Mob Games. I think it's theory bait. It's meant to get little theorist fishies like me interested in the hook, and then I get lured in and served up on a platter. You see, this isn't the first time that we've had Braun shoved into the spotlight only to be relegated as a mere background character when the chapter ultimately comes out. All the way back in the first trailer for Poppy Playtime, there's this wonderful shot of a giant toy Braun whose head suddenly turns around on its own and reveals its cold, dead eyes. And then the chapter came out and he was a poster. Cool, cool, cool. He reappears in chapter 2, but again, he's nothing more than just a prop in a puzzle sequence. And from a business perspective too, it just doesn't make sense for Braun to star in chapter 3. Mob Games have had such success in creating new, big, scary villains like Huggy and Mommy. The third chapter, just going back to a character that's existed since the beginning, it loses a lot of the hype of a big teaser reveal. And they not only lose hype, but also a good merchandising opportunity. People have loved Braun, Catbee, and all the other toys since chapter 1. New chapters means the opportunity for new characters, which means more new merch. And the last thing about this is that Mob Games' strength really seems to be flexible characters. Things that bend, feel softer or rubbery. I mean, Kissy Missy trying to pull this switch in the middle of chapter 2, not only is it hilarious, but it also just shows the strength of the team's animation of softer, stuffed characters. It is a huge and welcome departure from the monster designs of a certain other indie franchise that's dominated the scene for the past 8 years. Braun is hard, he's heavy, he's robotic. Again, pushing away from the monster aesthetic that's worked so well for Poppy Playtime up to this point. So call it a hunch from the past decade of doing this, but I don't think Braun is gonna be our big bad. I think they're gonna reveal more about our big bad in October or November as they get closer to next year's release. But hey, that's just a theory. A mini theory that exists within this one larger theory, because I am nowhere near done with this teaser. But if I am gonna keep going to reveal the big lore drop that I expect is gonna happen in chapter 3, I'm gonna need you to do one thing for me right now, and that is click the subscribe button. You guys know I know a lot about YouTube, right? Well, here's a little known fact about how it works. Your clicks on the subscribe button actually wind up a crank over at YouTube headquarters and give the algorithm the power that it needs to play the various videos. So I'm gonna need you to wind that crank. Bet you can't click the subscribe button before I count down to 0, 59, 58, 50. Okay, obviously it was a joke. Thank you for the sub. YouTube is all powered up. Let's get back to the video, shall we? Well, it would certainly be cool to be able to figure out the next